Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the 2024 Netflix original show, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not technically original. It is a remake. It's a remake. It's a live action remake of the 2005 Nickelodeon show from Brian Kozietsko and Michael Dante DiMartino. 2005 season 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender had 20 episodes. Netflix's live action of season 1 is their version of book 1, has 8 episodes. So the question is, how did 25-minute long episodes condense to 8 50 to an hour long episodes, minute to 60-minute long episodes, right? What do you get rid of? What do you condense? How do you splice things together? Stuff like that. I've been an Avatar fan for quite some time. I've had my tattoos for many a year: fire, air, water, earth. I was very nervous when they announced this. I was very nervous when the creators decided to step back because they thought it was going in a different direction. And I was extremely nervous when they started to reveal some things of, like, there's going to be differences and stuff. And I'm like, oh God. And then they announced the cast and I was like, okay, I'm okay with this cast. You have, certain actors and actresses of certain cultural backgrounds playing the certain characters of cultural backgrounds. I was like, okay, we're not pretending we're different races. It's exactly as it's supposed to be. Okay, I'm fine. I'm there. I don't know who any of these people are, but I'm there. We're gonna figure this out. I'm there. They showed the trailer. I thought it was really cool. I thought Gordon Cormier as Aang in the trailer was really fun, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. And then when it came out, I didn't watch it, and then here we are 11 months later, and I'm just sitting down now to finally watch it. I was very, very nervous. Very nervous. I read the comics, I read the books. I was nervous. And something that I hold so true and sacred to me, I didn't want tainted, and I just avoided it for so long. I didn't want to see it. My brother saw it when it first came out. He loved it. He wasn't obsessed with it, but he still loved it. He said it was a good representation. I just wish there wasn't so much green screen. And I was like, they're bending elements. What do you expect? Now that I've seen it, I understand what he's talking about. A lot of stuff is green screened, but now that I've seen Wicked, and I'm going to hold everything to Wicked now, build sets. Build bigger sets. If you have the budget to do it, do it. Certain parts of this remake I really enjoyed, but certain parts I had minor concerns. The character of Azula in this show, not specifically the actress playing Azula, but that character of Azula in the show is not as conniving, and she's not as sinister, and she's not as ruthless as Azula is in the cartoon. May and Ty Lee don't have a lot of screen time in this. The first time we see Aang come out of the iceberg, he says to Katara and Sokka, "Do you want to go penguin sledding with me?" And he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that in this show. There's no penguin sledding in this show. So once that first moment happens, I'm like, okay, so it's not a screen-to-screen remake, page-to-screen remake, if you're comparing a book to a movie kind of a thing, right? I was like, okay, so this is an adaptation. This is an adaptation of already canonized work. How does this work? How do you translate the 20-minute cartoon, 25-minute, 20-episode cartoon into 8-episode, 50 to 60-minute long episodes? How does this work? We get extra stuff. We get combined stuff. I really liked some combined stuff. I like that Washin Chu, the wise spirit. We've seen the library at one point. He's in the spirit realm that Aang, Katara, and Sokka happen to go to. Katara and Sokka are in the spirit realm. It's not just Aang. They kind of just like slough it all off. Like, Aang's like, I'm still learning, and like maybe it's whatever's in my vicinity gets taken with us. Who knows? I really liked how they explained certain things about the spirit world, because Aang didn't have any teacher. He had no teacher in regards to Avatar stuff, so he's learning. And he's very vocal about, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I really like that. I like that owning of it. I liked Ko being a part of this. I liked Jet's story arc with Pipsqueak and the Duke. I thought that was a neat little thing. I liked how Bossing said was a central point for 2 episodes. And Sai and Teo's storyline of the Northern Air Temple was involved in this. So that was really cool. I liked that Omashu was a central point for Sai and Teo's story. I liked that Omashu was the entry point to a secret tunnel where we then get the secret tunnel song. I thought that was smart. I also liked the added stuff. We get a whole wake scene of Luten and Iroh getting closer with Zuko and that sadness, and you have Leaves from the Vine playing in the background. Woo! We got all misty eyed. All misty eyed. I loved how we have the actual siege of the Northern Air Temple. We don't really get the full attack of that in the cartoon or the books. So I'm happy to see that that was a thing that was new, and wasn't the same way that Monkiatsu destroys the Fire Nation. In the show, he sucks out all the oxygen from the room. That way he sucks out the air that the fire needs to survive, but then kills everybody in the process. So it's a big sacrifice move. But in this, it was more of a fight, and he gets killed in the process. Which it's okay, but I liked the actual siege, because we haven't seen the siege. How did that happen? I liked the siege then of the Northern Water Tribe when we get to there. I liked having the little blips of Kyoshi Islands where we get Suki and Sokka having the little moment, and they share a kiss. And then at the end, Sokka's sharing a kiss with Princess Yue before she turns into the moon. That was another hard scene to watch. But Avatar Aang getting the ocean spirit and wreaking havoc amongst the Fire Nation, that was a big part of the season 1 finale, and we had that in here as well. So I thought that was appropriate. General Zhao being dumb, and that's fine. That's how it is. If they ever do a live-action Legend of Korra sequel series, which I really think they will, and I hope they do, we'll see Zhao in the what is it called? Fog of Wasteland or whatever it's called. That's going to be fun. The Uncle Iroh and Zuko connections were great. I loved Sokka and Momo. Oh my god, when Momo almost dies in this. Did not expect it because it doesn't ever happen in the cartoon, so it was a change, and I was like, what's happening right now? Are we losing Momo in episode 8 when there's 3 seasons, 3 books? No. And then Princess Yue saving him, I shed a tear. I liked the explanation of Spirit World stuff where Aang can speak to the past avatars by their shrines, and they can inhabit him briefly to help defeat in the avatar state, which again is another little twist on the spirit world. Obviously, this doesn't happen in the shows. This doesn't happen in the books. So this was a tweak that I don't think the creators liked, but I'm okay with it because again, the spirit world is just so vast, and there's so many different rules and things change all the time. So I didn't find that to be a problem because he can channel them, in his avatar state. Why can't he bring them out briefly? Why not? Weirder things. They can bend elements. Sure. Bring out. So Kyoshi defeats some people at one point, and then you have a full conversation with Avatar Roku and Avatar Korok. I thought that was awesome. Does he have a conversation with Yang Chen? He does not have a conversation with Avatar Yang Chen. But having a live action Korok and a live action Roku and a live action Kyoshi, I didn't think that these things were possible, and they were possible. And it was so cool. And I loved it. I loved the change. It was a different twist on it, but but that's what's cool about working with the spirit world is you can change these things, you can tweak these things, you can combine these things. Utkarsh Amdekor playing Boomy, I thought that was wonderful as well. I like the little rock candy nod to that. Sokka and Katara are exploring the secret tunnels while the rock candy scenes are happening with Avatar Aang and Boomy. Totally fine. But what I found very interesting is that while Sokka and Katara are exploring the secret tunnels, they run into badger moles. And I'm like, we don't really get those until the 2nd season. So they get a whole explanation of earthbending and how the badger moles started that. But we get that history from Toph in the 2nd season. So I'm curious how Toph's introduction is coming into play. I'm curious with more earthbender stuff coming into play. So if season 1 was all about earth, Aang learning about water, season 2 is about earth, season 3 is about fire. The dynamic between Zuko and Aang was sincere in this. They gave Zuko a lot of compassion in this, but a lot of struggle. And that's why he has that compassion. That's why he has the struggle, because of the compassion. That's why the Agnakai against his father, Lord Ozai, was a big thing. So I liked certain other explanations to that. Mentioning the mother at one point, I was like, oh, I know the story. One thing that I didn't like is Master. What's his last name? What's his name? Paku, of the Northern Water Tribe, who refuses to teach Katara waterbending, reveals that he knows Katara's necklace, because he gave it to her grandmother, Gran, because they dated at one point, and that's a big thing in the show. And it's not mentioned in this, and I was like, oh, I know your secrets, old man. And it's not. It didn't happen. Um, I thought the sarcasm of Sokka wasn't as sarcastic. Ian, what's his last name? Dooley, 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 Ian Dooley, Eon Dooley. I don't know. I don't know his full name. He does a great job with Sokka, but I feel like he could have been a little bit more sarcastic. Show sarcastic. Show Sokka is cartoon Sokka is very sarcastic. But I still think Ian did a very good job with the snark. This Sokka was more snarky than cartoon Sokka. Cartoon Sokka is more sarcastic than live action Sokka. Okay, there's the difference. Sarcasm versus snark. My favorite characters in any form of fiction is a sarcastic character, one who can balance the snark and the sarcasm. Wonderful to do that. Not many characters can do that. Axel Heck can do that. Greg Heffley can do that. Percy Jackson can do that. Not many others can do that. So it's a rare balance. It's a very rare balance. Styles Stilinski, Mieczysław Stilinski from Teen Wolf. It's another perfect example of snarkasm. But I think that's a good explanation. Snarky live action Sokka versus sarcastic cartoon Sokka. But Ian does a great job with Sokka. He brings a lot of heart into that character. He shows the turmoil of not thinking he's good enough. He shows the I want to do better. I don't know how to bend. This is my boomerang. He never says boomerang go or boomerang come back or anything like that. And we get a yip yip to Appa a few times. So there's certain little catchphrases that I wish we had more of, but I'll digress. Ian did a great job with Sokka. I thought the girl who played Katara did a great job with Katara. All the characters were done very, very well. It just felt, overall, something was missing through this series. Arden Cho did a great job as June. I just feel like certain other heartstrings weren't pulled as much in this live action 8 episodes as compared to the 20 episodes of the cartoon. I feel like in the cartoon we have those filler episodes, we have those filler scenes, we have those longer conversations. This is a shortened version of everything. This is a combined version of stuff. And I do like certain combined versions of stuff. I love, like I said, I love how Sai and Teo's characters were brought into Amashu. I thought that was appropriate. We don't need to go to the Northern Air Temple for Aang to relive that again, kind of a thing. I thought it was fine how it was. But certain parts of this show didn't have that kind of heart element throughout everything, as opposed to the cartoon has that heart element throughout everything. This was still a very well done product. Gorgeous set design, gorgeous costuming, perfect casting. I had no problems with that. I loved how every character cried at one point, too. That was another thing I noticed. Zuko's crying at one point, Aang's crying at one point, Katara's crying at one point, Sokka's crying at one point. I was like, wow, they don't normally do that for male main characters, let alone all the 4 main characters. I was like, this is intense. I also really liked how they upped the violence on this and brought into the whole, why was Zuko's 41st Battalion assigned to him backstory. That was brought into this as well. I thought that was very smart. Some parts of this were very smart in how they explained certain things, how they combined certain things. I just wish there was a little bit more heart to it. It just seemed a little rushed, too. I wish it was longer. I wish it had a little bit more heart. But on the hindsight, if it was a little longer, I think it would have had more heart. Overall, I thought everybody did a great job. I am very excited for the 2nd and 3rd season. I'm just very nervous because Gordon is obviously growing. That's what happens with kids. You feed them, they grow. Did his voice change? Because his voice and age now fits perfectly fine for Aang. Much like how Walker Scoble playing Percy Jackson, he has gotten much taller. His voice got much deeper. So he's not the 12-year-old Percy that we, you know and love from the books. He's not the 12-year-old Percy that we've learned and known from the first season of Percy Jackson. So I'm very curious how the second season of Percy Jackson is going to be with this adult or older Percy. I'm curious if the same type of thing is happening currently with Gordon. Did his voice get deeper? Did he get taller? In regards to playing Aang, the 12-year-old. How does that work? Very curious. Excited to see what happens next. Very excited for a future inevitable live-action Legend of Korra. Bro, Mako and Boku. Mako and Bolin and some professional bending. Oh, pro bending is going to be insane in live action. Absolutely insane in live action when we eventually get 5 years from now the announcement of Legends of Korra live action pro bending. Oh, the Fire Ferrets. Long live the Fire Ferrets. I'm getting ahead of myself. Avatar Last Airbender Season 1. Wonderful show. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.